What's up guys, my name's Liam and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new mice from ZOWIE. They finally rolled out 3 of their legendary shapes in wireless and they finally introduced a 4K polling rate. So how do they stack up against the competition, and more importantly, could either one of these be the perfect gaming mouse for you? Let's check it out. And before we get started today, I did want to let you know that these were sent out to me. However, everything you'll be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. Included inside the box, it does come with this card with the warranty information, a user manual, USB-C cable. This time they do include 2 different sets of skates. You do have white skates and the old traditional black skates. Then you have a smaller receiver, and here is a look at the enhanced receiver. And again, this does give you the capability up to a 4K polling rate. So here's a look at all the different offerings they have. I did to go ahead and throw the U2 in here. I have already reviewed this on my channel, but then here you have the S2, the ZA13, and here is the FK2. And we will break down the shapes here in just a minute, but the bottom design and layout of these is all really similar to one another. So I'll just go ahead and pick up the FK2 here for the layout. You do have a power button down here. This is the small receiver, I do believe. The off button here in the middle, and then over here to enable the enhanced receiver. Over on the right side, you have your DPI button. Then over here on the left side is where it allows you to control the polling rate. I'm not going to go over all of the functions on the mouse, but just really quickly, what I did want to go over is over here for the polling rate. Right down here, that's where you have 125 Hertz, 500, 1000. That's the 2000 Hertz polling rate, and then the 2 light indications on the right side is where you get the 4K polling rate. And one side note I did want to put out there for you guys, when you do pick this up, there is 2 different response times for the click latency. The normal mode, what you have to do is if you turn off the power and you hold the front side button and then turn on, this is going to give you the normal response mode for the click latency. It does have an 8 milliseconds click latency, and we'll jump into that later in the video as well, where I go over the click latency for the different polling rates. And then if you were to press the rear side button down here while it's off, hold it and turn it on, this is going to give you the fast performance mode, and this is a 4 millisecond click latency. These are now shipping with these white skates pre-installed, and I do prefer these slightly over the black skates. I still do plan on picking up some core pads for these in the future, and though I've not verified it yet by trying to put the same set of skates on all these different models, they do look like they appear to be similar to me. The one thing that is very impressive about all of these ZOWIE mice, the consistency across all these copies is really impressive. They actually pretty much almost feel nearly identical to one another. Now there is a difference in the sound signature and the implementation on the clicks based off of the shape, but aside from that, just everything about these does feel really impressive. They all have this really fantastic coating that ZOWIE is known for. As you can see, it's a fingertip magnet, but it's really grippy and helps you get locked in with the mice. The build quality on all of these, even though they have dropped the weight on all these units, the build quality has held up and felt fantastic on all of them. They do feel solid as a rock. I have opened up the U2 and the ZA13 to do all my latency testing on it. Both these models are using the Huano Blue Shell Pink Dots, the transparent version. I do believe that all of these are, but like I said, I did not verify it on my S2 or on the FK2, so if I am incorrect about that, I do apologize. And the implementation on all of these feels really fantastic. Like I said, similar across all models. You get very minimal pre and post travel. I really love the click feeling on these. Really consistent, even really lightweight back here on the click. You don't get any major wobbling or any type of teetering left to right. Very similar experience all the way across the board. So the clicks on all these mice, they do feel really good. For the scroll wheel, it is using the same type of a scroll wheel that is found on the U2. I do like these new ZOWIE scroll wheels, and the center click on it is pretty easy. And the same thing goes for the implementation on the side buttons. In the very rear back here, you get just a little bit of pre-travel, not a whole lot. The post-travel is great. Not a whole lot of wobbling there, and just the same across on all these, little bit of play back there in the rear. Not a whole lot pre or post travel. Really solid. I do get a little bit more of wobbling over here on the ZA13. Nothing that's too noticeable, But yeah, similar thing all the way across the board. So everything about the feeling of these in the hand with the clicks, everything, you get that old-fashioned, real premium ZOWIE feeling. They've done a solid job across all models. So let's go ahead and drop the click and quality sound check. They've done an excellent job with the balance on all these mice, front to back and left to right. Starting over here on the U2, 62.4 grams. Same thing over here for the S2. On my scale, 64.7 grams. Next up, we have the ZA13. On my scale, looks like we got it at 65.3 grams. And last but not least, for the FK2, looks like we got this one sitting at 63.5 grams. For the performance, everything with the wireless connectivity and the 4K polling rate has been running really smooth for me. I haven't ran into any outliers or issues. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you were to leave this in normal mode, you're going to get around an 8 millisecond click latency. If you were to enable the fast mode, which you can do on all these mice, it does drop it down to around 4 milliseconds. And I was finding that I was getting a pretty similar result regardless whether I was using 1K, 2K, or the 4K polling rate. When it comes to the shapes, ZOWIE has always been an industry leader with creating some of the most iconic shapes out there of all time. And just to kind of break these down for you, if you guys are not familiar with the shapes, the U2 and the S2, they are somewhat familiar, though they do feel pretty different in hands. So I will go ahead and do a shape comparison between all of these for you. So if you want to get the most support and stability, this does have a hump back here in the rear to help you get locked in a little bit more. The ZA13, this is one of the most iconic shapes of all time. It has that incredibly high hump. I do have to find myself getting used to this and adjusting it because the hump on it is so unique. I do really enjoy this mouse and the shape, but do be aware that this is a very high hump there, and it's pretty much higher than just about anything that I can think of that I have compared it to. So just something to notate on that. If you feel like you want a bit of a higher hump there, then this could be a good option for you. My personal favorite out of all of these, I really do like the FK2 a lot. I do feel like this is a pretty safe shape out of all of them. This is a flatter feeling mouse in the hands, so just keep that in mind. A lot of people have compared this to the Razer Viper V2 Pro or the original Viper in the past, and to be honest with you, they do feel pretty different to me, but they do kind of have that similar type of flatter style feeling, so just keep that in mind. But this does have that mid hump profile, so I do kind of feel like this is a little bit more of a safer shape depending on your various types of grip styles. You can use this with a palm fingertip grip or even with a claw grip, and I do feel like it excels pretty well in just about everything out there. But aside from the differences in shape, the overall width of these, when you put them together in the bottom middle, they don't really feel that far apart from each other. They all kind of have this almost medium to smaller style shape, but really the difference between them, just in the grip width down here at the bottom, really not that far apart from one another. So I'll just go ahead and I'll do a shape comparison between all of these different models. All right, guys, so that about wraps things up on the brand new ZOWIE mice. And I know that the weight on these a little bit higher than a lot of newer stuff that is coming out that is a little bit more lightweight. But with that being said, you do get the ZOWIE premium filling across all these mice. They really have great and unique shapes. And it didn't take me very long to adjust the weight, being at just slightly over the 60 gram range. So I really do feel like that ZOWIE has done a fantastic job with bringing these out to the market. So if any of these shapes look intriguing to you, or you've been a fan of the ZOWIE mice in the past, these are improved versions and they really do feel fantastic. So if you have any questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.